Yeah, I know we're late. We're arguing already before we even get on the air. Welcome
I
to
think we
Rivalz
should
Race
just
Chat.
I think we should just turn the cameras on because those conversations are probably as entertaining as anything we say during the hour that we're on the race chat.
I think it's funny how often we say, save it, save it. Well, don't talk about it yet because we're going to get something good out there. Thank you to everybody for tuning in as you do on Tuesdays. Thank you, everybody, for coming up to us at the tracks. We really appreciate your input. And we got to see some good people this past week. Alvars was out at OSH Weekend. We got to meet him, which was kind of cool. Did you get to meet him, Adam, Friday?
No, no.
You still don't know the man, the myth, the legend?
You know what? And it might be for the best because I
Yeah.
enjoy his opinions. And I meant what I said on Friday. I'm still waiting for one or two that I can agree with. But I enjoy the fact that he has the opinions and shares them with us.
He told me he likes to take pot shots at you because you're such a big target. So
It's all
he says Adam's so cocky on there. He's got his chin right out there, just waiting for you to pop him back. And
you know.
it's good.
Can I expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely. That's why we're here.
I've never enjoyed listening to someone who was really wishy-washy. Right? I want someone who's confident in what they. So I understand that people may not agree with me, and they might also not agree with the confidence with which I share my thoughts. But that's who I want to be. Like, I don't want to. How can you speak with conviction or be true to yourself if you don't believe the shit that you're saying? So I want to exude that confidence because if I'm saying it, I feel it.
I totally agree. You know, make a point, stand behind it, good, bad, or ugly. Alvarez says, he's like you, Adam. He told me he just likes to play the devil's advocate sometimes and look at the other side. Alvarez is also mentioning we should talk about the mod over the wall at Flamboro. We will a little bit later in the program. Gary from Flamboro is actually going to come on the program to talk about their biggest event, probably in the history of Flamboro, with their 50K to win pot of gold event this Sunday coming up. So Gary's going to be on top of that, and we'll touch upon the incident from Saturday night. We're also going to
I
invite
finally
Todd Lewis
agree.
to come on. Go ahead.
I finally agree with Alvers. That could have been a lot worse. No, that too. That incident could have been so much worse. I had actually shared a picture in our chat that we'll cover a little bit later on. So kind of sucks that I had to agree with him there. But all things must end. Sorry, Clinton. Go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
No, Spencer. Let's get into our quick wit trivia for the week. Once again, you can submit your answers via the comments, and we'll try and pick a winner off of the YouTube chat here. This week's quick wit trivia: who was the only car to not finish on the lead lap in the Pinty's 100 at OSH Weekend Speedway on August 16th? So, who was the only car not to finish on the lead lap in the Pinty's 100? Submit your answer in the comments, and we will get back to you shortly. We're also going to talk about this is going to kind of be a setup recap. We had a lot of racing going on. We got a lot of racing coming into Labor Day weekend. A lot of our series that you and I are associated with or cover are winding things down, and we're going to talk about a lot of those stories. But first on, we'll bring on Todd Lewis. Welcome, Todd, to the program. Todd's going to join us now to talk about the Pinty Series mainly. Todd, iCar on the weekend and then CTMP coming up, back-to-back road courses, 1 week apart. The season is quickly winding down for the Pinty Series. Adam and I have had the pleasure of traveling around and covering 99% of these races this year. I have really fallen in love with the series more than ever because I've gotten to know all the characters and seen almost every lap. So that's exciting. I know I'm addicted to it when I'm at OSH Weekend on the Friday of the Toronto Indy and I'm sneaking away in the garage to watch the stream so I don't miss it as it's happening because I couldn't be there. Probably a lot like you, Todd, who had to miss the dirt race at OSH Weekend. We missed you there. But
yeah,
let's talk about, first off, Adam, let's throw it over to you. You're the voice of the series for many years, live on the deal. We've got the stream going on. Todd, of course, also major part of it with everything that we do with TSN. Your thoughts on the season so far, Adam, and then maybe over to Todd.
I think it's been go ahead, Todd. You're a guest. I want
no. Please, I want to hear. I agree. We can talk about this all night if you really have time. But go for it, Adam.
It's been the best season ever for the NASCAR Pinty Series because, in my opinion, it has been the most unpredictable season ever. Nobody could have said at the start of this year, Marc-Antoine Camirand is going to be the fastest car at every track we go to. Nobody could have predicted that the number of winners, the car counts being solid. This is the closest we have ever come in any season to having level car counts on the ovals and on the road courses. So there's so many things that add up to making this so intriguing. So that's my take on the season. It has been the best season yet. Whoever wins the championship is going to earn it. They're going to have to overcome some adversity because the next two tracks we go to, the final two tracks, are the most comfortable. Delaware's not entirely comfortable, but it's a place where a lot of drivers can step up and wreak havoc.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think and it's funny how first race of the year and final race of the year, you often see it's a surprise. You'll often see a first time winner and drivers that do a little better than maybe they have through parts of the season as well. And you do get surprises, as you like to call them. You can call it wreaking havoc and disrupting the points. We saw last year it was an unusual year last year with 3 races all in the same weekend, but we saw someone leading the championship at the start of the weekend and somebody else was taking home the championship trophy by the end of the weekend. Now, as you mentioned, Marc-Antoine Camirand has been super fast at every event. He's led way more laps than everybody else this season, but he's also had troubles this season. You could say at times that, oh, there's one that got away, or there's another one that got away, and you would almost want to say that Mark could have and should have been running away with this championship at times. He has led so many laps and been out front of the field so often. But I think that says an awful lot too about the great competition that we have, that a team like the new GM Paillet team can come in and have success. Robin McCluskey has obviously taken a lot of what he learned over the years and come back together with Mark and been successful. But there's a lot of other guys that have been successful this year. We've had good runs from Alex Tagliani. We've had good runs from DJ Kennington. Trayton Lapsevich has won 2 races. So you've had super competitive races at every event. And I know that it's a pretty good lead for Mark going into the last 2 events, but I'm not one to be handing over the championship trophy to him just as yet. I think they're in the last 2 events that we will see, as we've seen all year, as you touched on, Adam, we will see surprises in the final couple of races this season.
I'm with you guys. I think the big thing here with Marc-Antoine Camirand that I took away, obviously fast, but he was fast at the start of a lot of these races and just couldn't put the finish on. Now, from my history in that means next year, maybe the year they figure out how to close all these events that they're quick at, and they're going to tighten up the bolts and be a bit better on that end of things. I'm wondering if that's not, metaphorically what's going to happen with the season here, where they come out fast and fade away at the end of this one too. It would be a heartbreak to see because they have been, as you say, a brand new team. And that's tough to do, to jump out the box and just run as well as you have. Looking forward to this week. Who's going to walk out of there with the checkered flag? I mean, we've seen some great battles. How can you look past Kevin Lacroix and all the stuff they've got going on? I mean, Tagliani's always been good there too. There's so many guys who could step up. I mean, Gary Klute still in the mix there after winning one there a couple years back. Who walks out of there with the checkered flag? First off, Todd.
I don't know how you bet against Kevin Lacroix because he's won 3 races all on road courses, and he was pretty fast at GP3R before he had the mechanical failure too. Not to say that he was necessarily going to win that race, but it was he had a very good car that race. So that's sure who you're going to look at first. But again, don't discount the 96 car of Camirand because he's run well there. He won there a year ago. Again, different team, but he finally broke through there a year ago. Tagliani, I think last year in the fall race that Camirand won, ran his best ever race at that event in the fall of 21, where he ran the whole event without changing tires. It was remarkable to watch. So I think that there are guys, and there's some guy named Ranger who's won 3 times at CTMP as well. So he's pretty good. I don't want to count him out either.
No, they're all good picks. I think Gary Klute is going to win. Mm-hmm. From the cool down lap the last time we raced at CTMP. I think from that point on, they decided they're not going to be denied next time we go. Between Gary and John Fletcher, I just think this is their destiny. I almost think after what went down in the spring, what happened the rest of the season didn't matter as long as they came and vindicated themselves here this weekend. And I think he'll be able to do it. Yes, the smiling assassin is coming for revenge.
The other thing that strikes me about CTMP is, it's not one of those tracks where you can get in trouble and get back in the mix. If you start to have a crappy day there, you're basically in big trouble. Your car's either blowing up or you've been in one of the tire walls, and it's not somewhere like an oval where you can knock the nose off or knock the quarter off and come back and try and save your day. So I think you just want to try and stay out of all the trouble to begin with, as everywhere, but more than ever on the road courses. Todd, what's been the one story maybe that we're missing on the season that we haven't talked much about? Because we always got that one headline that maybe you're seeing that we're not. And Adam, you can think about the same thing. You're pretty quick on that. What's the one story that we all haven't been talking about that we should have been maybe?
I don't know if it's one that it's been missed or we shouldn't have, but it's kind of a follow up to Adam's point of like so many cars and a great car count this year. Part of this was due to the event at OSH Weekend too, because we had so many drivers who were in the series for the first time. But I believe we are one shy of the record for first time starts this year in the NASCAR Pinty series. I was checking that out around OSH Weekend because there was a lot of first timers in that one. And I had Bryce look up the stats and he said, yeah, we're close, but we're not quite there yet. But I think we are now within one of all time first time starts in the Pinty series. And again, to your point, Adam, this makes it perhaps the greatest year ever. And I think it also says a lot about what's to come in the future as well, that after 2 years of struggles in anything and everything, whatever the industry is, to have the series so successful this year, to have such great car counts, such competitive teams, such great crowds at all of the events, and great crowds watching on stream and on television broadcasts. That think of where we can go next year as we start to put things in place for next season. Will the schedule exactly mirror this year? I don't know about that. It never seems to quite exactly be the same, but that's okay too. We went to Newfoundland for the first time this year. That was pretty cool. I'd like to see where we're going next year too, and that's the part that excites me.
So I want to expand on that very thought, Todd. What I think was the biggest deal this year is so far off of most people's radar. Traditionally, the NASCAR Pinty Series, the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, when it started, was run out of Daytona, but the competition side was run out of Milton, whether it was Richard Coughlin the first year and then Brad Moran, Alex Nagy, had very little to do with the business side of NASCAR Canada, which was run out of TSN. It was a property that was purchased that way. They were two silos operating completely separately of each other. One was business, one was competition. There'd be some crisscross. Tony Spateri being brought in as the general manager of NASCAR Canada now puts the funnel of everything NASCAR that happens in this country goes through Tony Spateri, whether it's competition, whether it's some of the big business deals that they're working on. I think it's going to take 3 years, 5 years to finally see what results in this. But I know damn well that every race this year, Tony Spateri has been there, and he's been there entertaining people that I have never seen before at the races. Todd, correct me if I'm wrong. Have you seen any of the entourages that Tony has been out with? Have you ever seen any of those people?
No, and you're right that this is something that is just beginning to start now. You won't see the full wake from this boat for a number of years to come. But that's also the right way to approach it, because so often, whether it's a team, whether it's a series, you get so far ahead of yourself, you're leaning so far over your skis that you wind up tripping and falling on your face. But no, let's find all the information out first. Let's observe and see what areas need immediate attention, what areas need a little bit of attention further down the road to help them grow and to improve their performance. And let's start to lift the whole series moving forward, whether it's expanding to different tracks, bringing in new teams, bringing in new partners is something that's always the right move. But these are all areas that will draw attention, and they'll all be given the attention at the appropriate time, which is going to be the other key.
Yeah. And to explain it fairly, what I mean is Tony is bringing out corporate decision makers. I think which bank was it? He said that the last weekend, someone from a
Bank of
prominent
Montreal.
Canadian bank. We don't
Yeah.
see these people at the races. So I think a lot of times the Pinty Series was kind of taken for granted by NASCAR, how powerful it can be nationally in Canada. Now we're still not Cup, obviously. I'm not saying we are, but there are things that could have been taken more advantage of or used more advantageously. And maybe from the other side, there are things from the mainstream NASCAR, being Cup, Xfinity, and trucks, that could be brought in to cross promote and elevate everybody's opportunities. So that's what I think. I think we're on the right path to put the series where it should be. And like you say, despite of having to be almost sidelined for 2 years with the pandemic.
I think you guys are spot on with Tony. I mean, we all know what he can do, and just the charisma alone and the respect that he brings to the series itself. I don't think there was any person who was disappointed that Tony got the nod for the deal. So I, for one, am super excited. Tony's hands-on, and just to reiterate a couple of things you guys touched upon, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag right now. Tony's new other entity that he works with, Fresh Stone Brands, his new company that he's behind, along with NASCAR, is having a ride-along day at OSH Weekend Speedway tomorrow. Special guests out. We're putting them in the two-seater sprint cars. We've got Nathan Rinaldi bringing down the two-seater late model from Brighton. We've got some amazing stories, and I'm going to touch on them quick because we're on it, Adam, and you're going to love this. And Todd, they're just great racing stories. So we're going to bring some executives down. So Tony is working behind the scenes to try and get some more important people, put them in the race cars at OSH Weekend tomorrow, feed them some lunch and bring them out and just get them in there. So, the balls are rolling behind the scenes that people don't even know. So we're excited to have that going on. This has been planned for a month. Got rained out, but we're going to do it tomorrow. So excited about that. While we're on the topic, guys, OSH Weekend had just over 8,000 people there. I know that was the question for what the attendance was on Tuesday, which is exciting that we can say just north of 8,000 people on the ground for Tuesday, which is amazing. So today, Adam, I had to put an all call to our teams and say, hey, guys, we have two-seater sprint cars, but we have some executives coming out who may want to actually try and drive a car. Would any of your teams be interested in lending out the race cars tomorrow for these executives? So first off, Brian Nanico, Crate Sprint Car Guy, says, I'm there. Anybody can drive my car. Let's do it. So that's amazing. These guys are putting up their $30,000 race cars. No questions asked. Never asked these guys had any experiences. Put them in there. If they want to drive it, go ahead. Kyle Wirt messaged me next, Adam. Says, hey, I have to work all day until 3 o'clock, but I know you need a car from 11 till 2. How about I just drop my Thunderstock off and you guys can rip all day in it and I'll fill it up with gas and I'll pick it up at the end of the day. Another amazing story. And then to take things one step further, Lucas Smith messages me today, and I'm going to read you my correspondence with Lucas Smith this afternoon. Lucas Smith is leading the points title going into OSH Weekend Friday. He's leading by about 30 points, needs to start and run this race to make it happen. And Lucas said, I could lend a car and assistance if you don't think my car's too ugly and they can fit in the seat. I said, first off, your car is definitely not too ugly. Second, it makes us smile that you'd offer up your car on championship week for some strangers to take it out. I have to refuse the offer because I'd feel horrible if somebody wrecked your car and cost you the championship this week. We'd love to have you out there to help out and do. And he says, it's just a race car. I'll borrow another one. But we did turn Lucas down. He's going to come out and hang out. But how cool is that our race teams on championship week just say, yeah, man, take my car. Like Kyle Wirt, he didn't even care. He's not even going to be there. Just going to drop it off in the morning, rip around, and he'll pick it up at the end of the day. I'm just so thankful as the manager of OSH Weekend for the culture we built there, that our guys are on board. They understand what it means to get these executives involved in the sport, and I can't thank our guys enough. So not too much about OSH Weekend. We'll get back to that later in the show, but super cool story. Adam, you know these guys. First off, quick comment on that, and then we'll switch gears back to Todd.
You know what? My quick comment, Clint, it doesn't surprise me at all. It's just everybody at OSH Weekend. The racing community is a fabulous community, and it's a wonderful family. But the competitors at OSH Weekend, Clinton, have bought into what you and Glenn are doing. And they haven't just bought in with their words. They're invested. If you tell them you need something, they're going to step up and do it. because they know that there's a reason. They know it's no accident that we have 4 divisions on any given Friday that'll have 30 cars each. Like we have over 100 cars racing in 4 divisions when there are racetracks that don't even have 50 cars running in 6 divisions.
Yeah.
Racers are pretty amazing people, aren't they? Just to, hey, here's something that's going on. We could really use your assistance, but it's a generous offer that these competitors have made, but also smart in the sense of seeing the bigger picture and understanding your outfit at OSH Weekend with Glenn, and I saw Glenn on the weekend because I wasn't at, as you mentioned, I wasn't at the Pinty's dirt race because COVID was kicking my ass at the time, so I couldn't come out. But I saw Glenn and at the race this weekend. I said, you guys ran a hell of an event. I watched the stream and it was just like it was just you could see that the enthusiasm, the excitement, and everybody understands that it's not just about that one event, and this is the start of something. This is building something at OSH Weekend and other tracks, and for the Pinty series as well. It's everybody wants to do the right thing and help out and participate and be part of the growth and be part of the excitement, because we're also invested in it. We've all been doing it for so many years. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our fiber. It's part of our being. There's no getting away from it, and we're drawn into it and have been for years, and want to continue to be part of the excitement going forward. And we see the potential in it.
I think for me, the big thing was, like, if Brian Cathcart said to me in Saskatoon, I'm not coming, I'm not really a dirt guy, I think I'm just going to pass. And I said, well, come on, give it a shot. And then he was the first guy to write me an email on the Wednesday morning and said, man, we had a blast. I'm so glad we gave it a shot. So, just good deals like that. Todd, in closing, what else should we be talking to you about? Adam, what else should we be talking about, Todd? Talking with Todd about before we send him on his way? I think we've covered a lot. Delaware thoughts as we look forward to that championship weekend. Is it going to be the brawl again?
Yeah, I think we just look forward to following up again with Todd. We don't realize what a great natural resource we have in Todd Lewis. He's there's not a lot of people, Todd, that have had the success you have in all levels of racing. But the fact is, the NASCAR Pinty Series is sort of your focus. So you're almost like, it's like DJ Kennington. You can go and run the Daytona 500. You can go and do the Indy 500, but you still come back to your roots. And this is so it's fun to have you around.
Thanks.
I got a question for you, Todd.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it going to rain or be sunny this weekend? Because CTMP is a total crapshoot. I've seen it both ways. Most times it's rainy and shitty.
I tell you, we'll wait and find out, because I was there yesterday and I'll do a little plug for this event that I was at yesterday. It's the Team Canada Scholarship, where Brian Graham and Brighton West Ratings, who have done this for so many years, they have turned it into a shootout this year. They're helping to expand and grow it, and they invited 6 young racers to come and compete for what is going to be a scholarship to take them to the Formula Ford Festival in Britain. They're going to take 2 drivers over. So they were on track and they were competing yesterday. And this is my long way of answering your weather question. So they were on track, and again, to indicate what kind of people racers are. So 3 of the judges that were there yesterday were James Hinchcliffe, Robert Wickens, and Kyle Marcelli. So that's some pretty significant Canadian racing talent. They all gave their time. They all came out to watch and learn and help these youngsters. Daniel Morad was there coaching. Ian Willis was there as well. And so many other people were there to help out. But our discussion was, is it going to rain? Is it going to rain all day? Because the forecast wasn't great. The rain held off as soon as everybody was all packed up inside. The heavens opened and it poured for about 20 minutes. But if we had rain in the spring, and then it was dry, and then it was rain. So I don't know what the hell's going to happen on the weekend, but I'll be there to find out, and looking forward to it.
Then it was a tornado.
Yeah, well, that was before it was nuts.
Mother Nature's going to play along. Mother Nature's going to be a team player.
He says it's going to be nice. Wesley's always got the answer. Wesley's our Bryce. You know what I mean?
I'm good. Yeah. Okay.
And he hooks us up with all the info. So as soon as we say something, he looks it up. And thank you, Todd. Thanks for being with us. We'll let you go. We'll see you this weekend at CTMP. Adam and I have a busy weekend, but we'll be joining you Sunday morning.
Look forward to it, guys. Always enjoy the chat. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Todd.
Cheers.
Sorry, all the dirt guys are. What is this? Pinty's Power Hour 2, which was
Well, you know
Cam's
what?
show
We
yesterday.
talk
Talk
about
about
what there
everything.
is to talk about, and that's just it. If you're a racing fan, that's where we're going to get into some really interesting topics too, Clinton. That I think have some meat in them. So let's blast through a few of these topics, so we can start to chew the fat.
I think we can accept Robert Wood as a winner, but I think Mike Kerr has already won. Mike, let me know if you've won already. If you had, we should give another crack at somebody else. Let's talk about APC Sauble recap, and then we'll get into some dirt stuff. And since Gary's already here 10 minutes early, but that's okay, Gary.
It's all good.
APC Series. Adam, what a great show it was at Sauble again. That place puts on some awesome racing. Rick Spencer Walt went on to win the main event again, and what a drive it was for him. Blair Wickett took the pole. Good to see Blair run good. He was fast last few weeks. Abby was basically up in the exhaust pipes of these cars, man. The foot she was getting again was unreal. Some fairly uneventful, a couple incidents, but nobody really got totaled. But Rick Spencer Wall with that totaled knee, he just bested them at it. It was amazing to see this guy's resilience and strength, and in massive pain when he gets out of the car. What more can you say about him? Joe Lawrence comes back, runs a solid second as a fill-in for Danny Benedict. Said he was just bummed out having to run in third.
JR Fitzpatrick had the most miserable third place finish ever. I actually talked to him this week, and he said, man, he says, that sucked. He said, points racing sucks. He says, but I did what I needed to do. We got to the end, but that's just not how he's wired.
It only comes down to one more event. It's going to be wild here in a few more weeks. We get back to Delaware for the finale, September 24th, I believe it is. It's going to be awesome. What a great season it's been. We've had a fantastic time covering it, and it's going to come down to the final race. And, as long as Jared Fitzpatrick can run the way he has been, he'll be fine. But it could still fade away. Kyle Steckley's still running, and a couple other guys are still in there.
And Kyle's been running Delaware every week. So the perfect storm could go down. Fitzpatrick is going to be vulnerable where he starts that feature event, because as long as he qualifies, he's not going to start any better than probably 8th or 9th, depending who shows up that's a part-timer. So it'll be tough for Fitzpatrick. And Kyle Steckley, he's awful good at Delaware as well.
Right on. So that's our APC Sauble recap. If you get a chance to go up to Sauble, make sure you check it out. They've got one more event to go this summer. Make sure you get in there and check it out this Labor Day weekend. Let's switch gears down to Flamboro now. Let's talk to Gary Calling about the Pot of Gold coming up, and a scary incident happened on Saturday. Adam, we'll let you take this control here. What should we be talking about first?
Let's talk about the way you set that up. We have to talk about Mike Pod first in the injury. Mike Pod's own words: he's got a broken leg, had surgery, broken pelvis. He's expected to make a full recovery, so it was a positive message from Mike Pod from the hospital. And I'm just going to say, Clinton, that could have been so much worse. When we were there with the APC cars, people were lined up shoulder to shoulder along that fence. So had that accident happened at a couple of other events this year, you'd have been sending 10 to 12 people or more to the hospital. And it would have been worse than broken legs. But that's my take on it, Gary. I didn't want to throw you under the bus there, so I figured I'd give my thoughts. I'm sure you've had time to ponder that as well.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was definitely a scary situation last Saturday. I'm like you, Adam. I started with Mike Pod in the Canadian Vintage Modifieds rookie year, right? So we're pretty close. And when I heard the accident happened and went over there, I didn't even know who he was. That's how crazy it was.
Yep.
After talking to a few and touching base with our own staff, like Kenny, who stands in the corner, and Lisa McRae, who helps do the lineups, who was right there, making sure that their mental health and they were okay after what they witnessed, and touching base with TJ Edwards today, just making sure he was okay.
Right.
It's good to say everyone seems to be okay, but it definitely was a scary situation, and I'm glad we have Bass Safety and Emergency. If it wasn't for them, I think we would definitely be in a different category altogether. John is currently fixing the fence as we speak, and we're up and running. So we're going to go back at it, and we'll do a whole bunch of stuff with Mike Pod.
Make no mistake. We all, that's where I stand to watch races at Flamboro. I know that is a dumbass place to stand to watch races. So when I've had Connor with me, since he was a kid, we stand up there at the fence a little bit closer to turn 3. I say, Connor, whenever you're here, look behind you and make sure you know where you're going to dive if something comes up. And that something could be a race car, it could be a wheel. But that's real important to me that we have a way out. We know there is nobody standing or sitting up there that doesn't know that is a bad idea, and we are all stupid racers because we need to be forced out of there. So thankfully, like the positive side, it could have been a whole lot worse. And it was Mike Pod, someone who's been at the racetrack since he was a kid, at that racetrack almost every Saturday night. So he knew where he was, he knew what the risks were, and I'm thankful he wasn't hurt worse.
Yeah, and Mike Pod stands right at the entrance to the racetrack, right? So that's where he got hit, at the very end, right? It wasn't halfway through, it was at the very end of it. So yeah, man, like God, it was scary, dude. It was like he flew 60 feet through the air. He got hit by the race car.
Could have gone either way. So let's leave it at that. Yeah. I think that's enough.
End that over. Let's go something to happy. Yeah.
Pot of gold, $50,000 on the line. A lot of people don't know what the response has been like, Gary, but you do. How are things looking?
We had some pretty good response. We have 61 pre-entered racers already. I did a big interview today with a guy from California. He reached out to me. He owns some big website and that they do races all down there. And he heard about the pot of gold and needed to reach out to someone. So somehow he got my number because he's had about 9 or 10 U.S. border guys looking to go to this race and how can they get there and what do they need to do. And so it's exciting. John is definitely excited. You can tell because on Saturday morning he comes up to me with the big check he's got made for 50 grand, and he's all jacked up on it. We do have 3 racers coming from Nova Scotia. 6, 7 Quebec drivers have signed up and are coming. They will be there Saturday night. They're going to watch the races and then come in. I think it'll be a good event. Will we get 250 cars, 300 cars? I don't know. I don't know.
Let me
We'd
back
like
it up
to
a
see
bit.
It, but
first off, we need to let the viewers know what kind of cars we're talking about. Secondly, there were some requirements there to make it a $50,000 to win payout. Have we met the requirements to pay out the $50,000 at this point in time?
The $50,000 is a guaranteed. It will be paid out.
Amazing.
No matter
what. That's super cool. So these are enduro type cars, right? These aren't mini stocks. These aren't pure stocks. This is a $50,000 win. Kick the windows out, put some safety gear in, and go racing.
10-4. Yes. Basic roll bar. Go in, race. It should be about a $1,500 to $2,000 car, maybe.
60 plus pre-entries. Any estimates on where you think you're going to get to? Like, what's a realistic number you could hang your hat on it and look at us on Monday and say, I was pretty close?
I say 125.
That's cool.
That's funny. I was thinking in my mind when you said 61, I'm thinking, okay, that's 100 to 120 cars will show up on race day.
I was at 133 for some reason. I don't know why.
There you go. What is the cost
I like your
to
number,
register,
Clint.
Gary? Yeah.
Someone shows it is up. 500. Yeah, it's $500 at the back gate. That gets the driver and their score into the race. After that, it's $40 per person to get into the pits.
But wait a minute, let's back this up. You guys had some amazing early bird deals, wasn't it? Wasn't there a better deal there a few months ago?
Oh yeah, it was $500 driver and 9 crew,
Yeah, I didn't want to
got
speak
in.
out of turn and make it look and put crow in my mouth, but that was an amazing deal. So you're basically, if you bought in, it seemed, I'm only saying that because people are say, oh, two people for $500, but there was multiple months of opportunity to pay the regular
Hey,
pit price
so
for you and all your buddies.
Hey,
I love
Clinton,
the price.
Clinton, here's what I'll do right now, tonight. If they register by Friday at noon, I will give the driver and 9 crew to come in.
Wow.
If they register and email me at info.flamborospeedway@gmail.com, I will allow them to have 9 crew and the driver for $500.
That's a hell of a deal right there.
I love it. It's outside the box. What I love the most about it, Clinton, because some people were complaining, and people whose opinions I really respect, saying, no, it should have been a late model race. It should have been a super late model race. Bullshit. It should be bone stocks so anybody can come out and try to compete for a big prize. It just builds so much excitement because there is a very good chance that it's not a big name racer who's going to win this prize.
Well, also look at it from this side, Gary. We're all trying to bring new people into the sport. What's going to get more people to give Flamboro Speedway a shot than a race car they can build for $500 to $1,000 to try and go for $50,000? And if they don't totally total it, they can probably drive the same car for the next 3 or 4 years if they drive it smart in these enduros and don't blow it up. So, I think it's an amazing deal. It's awesome you guys are going to take that shot and go for it. I mean, it's definitely a risk.
It definitely is a risk, and as John says to me a few days ago, that he's put $1,000 away for the last 50 years, so that's where the money's coming from.
Oh,
he
great!
wants
So
to
we're
give
taking
back.
John's nest egg. That doesn't make anybody feel good. Nobody
No,
wants
no,
to take
no.
John's
But-
retirement.
Oh yes, they do.
Yeah, that to do.
Rodney Rutherford's had his chops on that one for a while, probably, right? Is Rodney the favorite, Gary? I guess on paper he'd have to be, right? Adam?
I think so. I definitely think Rodney would be the favorite for sure.
This is one of those, Clinton, where nobody is going to be 2-to-1 odds or 3-to-1 odds. I think you start at like 5-to-1 odds and up from there. Because I don't, with the amount of traffic, the amount of variables that are going to be in this race, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be real tough, but it should be fun. Like Jay Tolton says, he's got a car ready.
I think it's going to, I think it'll be, from what I've heard, there's guys building cars that I don't know that come from some big teams. So I know Chris Lawrence is coming with 4 cars. There's a guy that put, like, he just went crazy, right?
What's it going to take to do this every year? What are the chances it goes so well? Because if it goes okay this year, double your car count for next year.
If it goes well this year and John and Frank and everyone break even or do a little better than breaking even, it has already been discussed that it'll be $75,000 to win next year. Don't forget, we also have the Halloween Enduro that's 10 grand.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Is there any deadline requirements? What's the cutoff to get registered for this, Gary? Like if these guys decide Saturday night and they want to thrash a car together and show up Sunday, is there any pre registration deadlines?
No pre-registration. We'll take them at the pit gate on Sunday morning. All as we ask is that you go to the Flamboro Speedway website, look at the rules and regulations, and make sure your car fits in those rules, because we don't want to send you home. You don't get your money back.
Who were the heads of tech for this race? Sorry.
Good question, Adam.
Head of tech will be Kelly Howlett, Glenn Hills, and Ryan. We will be doing full tech at the end of the night. Top 5 will go into the tech barn and be literally
right down. And for those not in the know, for those not in the know, these are people who understand 4-cylinder race cars. Like these are people who have built the rule books for 20 years.
These are the guys who can cheat them up better than anybody if they wanted, so they know exactly what to look for. Both of them have been longtime tech and guys, and Ryan too. Gary, just clarify, this is Sunday, and what time do you expect pit gates to open, and what time do you expect this race to happen?
Pit gates are going to open at 8 a.m. Tech starts at 8 a.m. as soon as you come in. First car that goes through Tech and passes Tech is the pole sitter. So if the first early bird there gets out and on the track, he'll be the first one in line. Racing will start at 2:05. Exactly 2:05.
So they're starting to line up today, is what you're telling us by that statement, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if there's probably some guys sitting there waiting.
And for fans, if you're interested, there is no live stream for this race. If you're interested, go to Flamboro Speedway. What's it cost to get in, Gary, in the grandstand side?
I believe it's $35 for the adult. Kids under 5 are free. I think it's $15 or $20 for child or youth or senior.
You're going to be entertained. Like it's going to be a spectacle.
Oh, I got one other thing to say. If anyone has registered and they have a Westholt transponder or a MyLapse transponder, you can bring them because we have a hybrid cord that we can run both in the same program.
Wow.
So if you have one of those and you want to use your own, please bring it. We will still donate money to the Waterloo Regional Kart Club because they are helping us out with the timing and scoring. So we donate it to them back for their kids to enjoy a little bit more at their parties. You know what it's like with the Waterloo Kart Club. We just want to give back to them because they're there every Saturday morning. So they're going to help us out with timing and scoring and their transponders. But if you have a Westholt transponder and or a MyLapse transponder, you can bring them to Flamboro and we can register them in and it'll do the timing and scoring with us.
Right on. Kyle Tomaski says, is it rain or shine, Gary?
If it super rain on Sunday, it'll go Monday.
Okay.
But I think we're going to get it in Sunday. It looks sunny all day, 29
Yeah,
degrees.
the weather looks good. I'm kind of bummed. I really wanted to see this race, and I can't be there Sunday.
I hoped it would have rained at Flamboro on Sunday. And that's bad for me to say. Only because Adam and I are stuck at Brighton with G-Force, and we would like to have been there. So, unfortunately, we were already booked when this came out.
Hey, I will always invite you guys down. And hey, you're never stuck at a racetrack, Clinton. You're never stuck. You're in your happy
Thank
place.
you. I was going to give him crap for that.
No, you know who's going to give you crap for that is Miss Rinaldi's going to give me shit for saying stuck at Brighton, and she's never going to live that down. Just like you said, it was in the middle of nowhere once, and you've had to swallow that for 20 years.
Yeah, but
it's near the Big Apple, is it not? It's near the Big Apple. You're good.
It is.
Yeah.
Albert says Kent Noon's going to win.
There you go.
Thanks, Gary.
Kent Noon could win. Yeah. All right. Hey, guys. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thanks, Gary.
Wow. Big deal over there, Adam. It's going to be cool. Another thing that's happening on Sunday, the Pete Costco Memorial at Humberstone. Want to give that a quick mention as well. We honor Pete Costco and what he did for Humberstone and the Niagara racing scene. And a lot of racers will be out for that and go out and support Humberstone if you're in that neck of the woods on Sunday night. We have to talk about a couple of things. Championship Friday at OSH Weekend, Adam. It comes down to, the sprint car classes have their championship this Friday. Next Friday, it's the Thunder Stocks and the Street Stocks. Right now, it comes down to basically Corey Turner's got the lead over Liam Martin coming into the final night. Ryan Turner and Mitch Brown are tied for third. They still have a mathematical chance, but the numbers, as I ran them last night in both the crates and the 360, pretty much comes down to about 15th position. So if Liam Martin wins the race, as long as Corey Turner finishes inside the top 15, he will pretty much still have it locked down. If Liam should go on to win the race and Corey doesn't have a great night and finishes outside the top 15, it's up for grabs with about 15 positions being the difference. In the crates, it's very similar to the same deal. Lucas Smith leads the points over Eric Gledhill, and about the same margin. 15 positions is what it's going to take to make up the 30 or so positions.
Lucas Smith has been towing to the racetrack on a little flat open trailer with a van. He's been using his prize money every week to put gas in the van to come back the next week and keep that car pieced together. I mean, he has run on a very limited budget this season. So, some of the things you don't know if the fans know or not. We talk about Millionaires Row, and you talk about some of the teams that do fairly well. They're very well funded. There are also teams that perform very, very well that do not have that same amount of funding, and Lucas Smith is one of those drivers.
Yeah, he's been fast the past couple years. He definitely, sometimes Adam drivers can just kind of consistency way they're in. How can I put this? They're not dynamic. Consistency wins the championship for them, right?
Yeah.
But Lucas has been dynamic this year. Like, this guy's putting that car where he shouldn't be every week and coming out the other side, and he's going to be rewarded with a solid run no matter where things shake out Friday. Lucas has got a good had a fantastic season, and you're right, you got to pull for the little guy. It's kind of David versus Goliath. On the other side, you got Eric Gledhill and the 3 to 4 car bar team backed by Oakwood Motorsports, and and what a drive Eric's had. This kid came out, he was having trouble 3-4 years ago just getting a handle on. He was spinning out a lot, coming out of nowhere with no experience. How great is that someone like that can come into the crates, no prior racing experience, and be a champion a couple years later, or in the contention for it.
Yeah, and he's got a great shot. On that same topic, Clinton, it really bothered me. Blake Bombury made a post on Facebook this week. His nephew Kai drove a Thunder car for the first time. He drove Blake's car. And to hear that there were people in the grandstands, I'm all for people. Boo the people you don't like. Hopefully they've earned it. Cheer for the people you do like. But there's no need to bash people on the racetrack. There's no surprise that it's no secret that Kai Bombury was off the pace. But how else do you learn? He got out there in the B main, ran 10 laps, got a little bit better. He earned his qualifying spot in the feature. And Doug Leonard gave him a chance to go out there, got lapped a couple of times, got involved in skirmishes, and eventually Doug Leonard did. Black flag, Kai Bombury said, look, you've done all the learning you're going to do tonight. We're going to send you the pits because you've been involved. But folks, there is no place for that. There's no place for hate or bashing at the racetrack, particularly not in the grandstands. You don't know who you're sitting around. They happen to be sitting around Kai's entire family. And I even said to Blake on his post, thank goodness, Blake, you're such a gentleman. And he really is. Really. Blake Bombury is a fine gentleman, a great ambassador for the Speedway, because he went up and explained Kai to those fans. And I guess they stopped saying what they were saying. But since he made that post and I commented, I've got messages from other people just about some nasty things and even racist comments. And Clint, if I ever see that, it's going to get ugly.
It has gotten ugly some of the times for me too. I mean, you're right. There's no place for that. The only time we need to talk about race is when we're talking about a green flag and a checkered flag, as far as I'm concerned. We're all one big happy family. But along those lines, you're right. And how that went down, as soon as he qualified, Doug Leonard came on the radio and said, Jeff Durnan, I want you to go over to the Bombury team and explain to him he's qualified. And explain to him, we just want to run the bottom, keep running as many laps as he can. At the end, they got involved. And Doug just commented, he said, it was getting down to a tight finish. There's a couple races to go in the Thunderstock season. I didn't want them to get involved in a tangle. He kept them out there as long as he could, and I thought it was a good deal. And good on Blake. I just want to jump back to the crate sprint situation here. Bar Motorsports, they had their truck and trailer stolen on the weekend. A bunch of quads got stolen. Darren got some of the stuff back, but thanks to the racing community who jumped in and shared it, and they were able to get most of the stuff back. Quite the setback for the Bar Motorsports team as they get ready to go into championship weekend this Friday. Moving on, big weekend at Brighton, Adam. Both the KOT Knights of Thunder 360 Series and the Action Sprint Tour will be kicking off at Brighton. We'll be live both nights down there. I'm excited to be a part of that. Plus, some of the other Brighton divisions are going to be on the cards both nights. It's going to be exciting. I'm happy to get back to Brighton. We always have a great time there, and are always treated great by the Rinaldis.
It's a fantastic atmosphere. If you've never been, go and check it out. If you go this weekend, go early. It's going to be hard to get a seat because the place is going to overflow, and it's going to overflow for good reason because the racing is exciting. They're all over each other. It's a fun show, and yeah, I love the fact that we're going there for 2 nights. I almost wish we weren't going to Moseport as well, because it kind of sucks that we have to commute back and forth and leave what I'm sure is going to be a pretty good party.
Well, excited to be getting on there. Yeah, I can't wait to get down to Brighton. We'll be doing the 4 nights again this week, or 4 events in 3 days, I guess it will be. Yeah, Jesse Costa also announced he's going to be parting ways with Bar Motorsports. We'll have to get that story this week. Not sure what that's all about. But Jesse's also in 3rd place in the points and not mathematically out of it, of the crate championships as well. It is a long shot, but still has a chance to get it done. Let's talk about social media, Adam, GoPros, and all that comes together with promoters having to do a better job themselves instead of just blaming it on their drivers, social media, GoPros, and everything else that's wrong with racing.
And it's beyond GoPros, it's cell phone cameras. No matter what happens, Clinton, and if people have me on Facebook, my wife and I were witness to an absolute brawl between 2 women in a parking lot last night. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Most people would probably pull out a phone and start filming it, but it did eventually break up. I got a little bit sidetracked there. Promoters don't need to worry about what you're doing with your GoPro camera or what you're filming with your cell phone. Because you know what? If you run a... No, we're good. We're good, hon. It's
Bedtime,
okay.
sweetheart.
No, don't put clothes on. No, you were good.
Clothes on.
They only saw your right one. There shouldn't be something happening at your racetrack that can't be shown on a live stream or on a GoPro. So I think quite often these tracks complain, and there's been tracks closing down because of the hatred. You have to create a culture of inclusion and fun and excitement. And if there's shit being filmed that reflects poorly on your racetrack, don't get mad at the person with the camera. Figure out what's going on at your racetrack that you can make better, or what situations are going on that you can prevent so that doesn't happen. So when people film things and share them online, it's done in a positive light.
Yeah, I'm with you, Adam. You know, there's other posts where now it was from Lee Speedway in the States where they said they weren't letting anybody run GoPros unless they were approved by the race teams. Here to tell competitors at this point forward, there's no recording or live streaming of the race by competitors, race teams, crew members, friends, or family. Unfortunately, some race teams and individuals who not even 10 races want to share videos with negative comments that you may have posted. A reminder to all competitors to share the social media rules as written in the 22 procedural rules. And it goes on to say GoPros must be approved as written in the all divisional rules under the transponder, scanners, radios, electronic, and cellular phones. You know, it's just, I don't know, Adam.
I've already tuned out.
Yeah, to me, it also comes back to like got drivers coming up. They probably had enough drivers come up with footage and say, look, your call was wrong. My GoPro, I have the video proof of it. And you know what? We've had to stand up to that, Doug and I, many years in the drivers, you know, in the tech barn at the night and say, look, hey, your mom might have caught it, but we're not even looking at it. You know, when you look at any types of the referees in any type of pro amateur sports, whether it be, you know, your baseball league, your hockey league, they're not going back to reverse calls. We don't have video replay. If we made a bad call, it is what it is. You got to live with it. We got to live with it, but we just don't entertain that. So I'll tell you, to anybody who deals with us, save your video because we don't want to see it. You know,
in fairness,
we can't go back and fix it.
There are series who do use video, right? So it's fine. Now, whether you use it or whether you don't, you just have to be clear on how you're going to address things.
That's a whole other thing, though. We will use it when we want to use it, but we're not entertaining what your video says. And I know that's a total prick move, but we will use everything we can find. And the beauty of us having the live stream is there has been multiple occasions where Doug Leonard or our officials can go back and watch, or we have multiple replays of it that they can watch it and make a quick assessment. But that's a luxury you sometimes have, not something you can count on every day.
Right.
You know,
if you think NASCAR doesn't do that, you're foolish. If you think APC doesn't do that, you're foolish. They all take advantage of that. And there are officials always walking over to our screen when something goes down and they want to get it right, or they want to see who involved cars are and make sure that their initial. I think the focus needs to be they're doing it for the right reasons. They want to get the calls right. They want to put on a fair show. But like I say, the tone of some of this bashing that goes on. I go back to the days when we owned Dirt Track Digest, and an internet forum was the worst thing to ever happen to racing. If people had to use their real names, they'd never say this shit. Guess what? Facebook came along. People use their real names. You know what? They're still assholes. It didn't stop anything. Now we know, okay, here's the asshole that said all these terrible things. He's not hiding behind a screen name anymore. That was never the case. It never mattered to people. Just the fact that, as my grandfather used to say, every ass loves to hear himself bray. And people have a lot of places where they can stand up and bray.
It's true, but try to give them less stuff to bitch about, right? As a promoter, all we can do is put on the best possible show and, stand up for your wrongs. When you make a mistake, I have no problem standing in front of drivers. Yeah, we fluffed that call and we cannot turn it back. It is what it is. You know what I mean? We're here now. Can you believe that the summer's gone by?
I don't even want to talk about it. One other point to that, there were times at OSH Weekend back in the day when officials would come, hey, this team was yelling at me. They verbally abused me. Well, what did they say? Explain what they said. Well, were they right? Well, yeah, but does that matter? Okay, well, kind of, yeah, it kind of does. We don't want them to be nasty, but they get upset. People have things invested. Sometimes you got to eat shit.
Yeah. Wesley brings up good point. Great turn of late models last Friday weekend. It was a really good show. Good job on all late models by coming out. And all around, excellent racing. I can't believe we've only got 4 nights left at OSH Weekend.
Stop it.
2 championship nights and the Nationals. So exciting. That almost wraps up this program. Do we have Merrittville coming up, Spencer? I think we do. Merrittville's coming up at 9 o'clock from Saturday night. Someone asked, will G-Force Light be at Humberstone? Spencer, can you answer that too? That is the plan. We'll figure it out. So, yeah, we have a lot going on Sunday. Trying to get the Pot of Gold and Humberstone and everything else going on. So, we'll have to work it out. But that's going to do it for this program. We'll turn you over now, live to Brighton Speedway. Thanks, Adam, for hanging out. Good chatting with you. And we get ready to roll into a busy weekend once again. Talk to everybody.
And folks, if you've been doing amazing with it, but if you see us at the racetrack, come up and interrupt us, whatever we're doing, and stop and have a chat. It's been a lot of fun meeting everybody this summer.
Sure has. See you again. Thank you.